Fuck it. Dio versus Alucard.
This episode of Death Battle is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Is there
3 years ago,
something interfering with your happiness and keeping you from achieving your goals? BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own license.
Dio Brando,
I still got time.
everlasting adversary of the Joestar
I work tomorrow at 12, but I get out early tomorrow. I call Diavolo my goat. Ooh. Dio or Alucard? I think I got Alucard.
Bloodline.
So we might be different. I got Alucard on this one. Let's see.
Alucard, undying enforcer of the Helsing organization.
Vampires, the spawn of nightmares formed from the blackest pits of man's demented imagination.
Anime, basically the same thing. What do you get when you combine them? Two of the meanest monsters out there. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Imagine if you
This how you can tell it's old Death Battle. New Death Battle's 4K, this one's 1080.
can.
They're on my... I'm not gonna say my level, these videos are insane.
Someone so wicked that the sheer magnitude...
No, don't worry. No, I know who you meant. No, I know you meant card. That's why I'm saying we're different.
Born a penniless street rat with a
6'5", 185. This fucker's lean. I'm an idiot. Oh my god! In the other clip, I misread it. I forgot that some people use centimeters. I thought it said his height and weight next to each other. I didn't see the centimeters. I just skimmed it.
cunning mind in the slums of Victorian London, Dio was humiliated by his poverty and abused by his alcoholic father.
His bitter resentment and small dick energy would lead to a lifelong...
First watch JoJo's, I stopped at season 4 because that's when I finished the whole season and that was all there was. Bro, season the Dio like coming as a vampire and like he was fighting Jotaro. He was fighting Jotaro.
Disintegrate.
So, what did Dio do? Well, Jonathan on his wedding night and attached his head to JoJo's body. Wow! Cake taken, for sure.
By other stands. Quite the obstacle for any opponent lacking similar abilities.
Ow! Hey, look, Wiz, I got a stand. I call it 99 bottles. Oh, shit. Don't worry, Wiz. I'll change you back with your Ooh, look, a giant beer.
Bruh. Why did this become a random troll?
As befits a god among men, Dio received one of the most powerful stands in history. The world. With its ability to stop time.
I know all of this.
Huh?
I watched that.
Thanks for the... Ow! Well, not only does his time stop get longer with each use, he can spam it as much as he... Just as strong as Stone Free, which can punch meteors...
Stone Free?
...that were pulled to Earth in seconds.
By measuring the distance the meteors are from Earth, we can estimate they were moving at over 11 million meters per second. Factoring in their mass, they'd each have a kinetic energy of 441 kilotons of TNT.
Not that crazy when you can throw punches that are faster than light. No, really, Star Platinum kept up with this stand, Silver Chariot, which could cut a beam of light.
Looking at the interval Silver Chariot's sword swung relative to the light beam, it must have moved over 1,500 times the speed of light. And Dio himself has matched Star Platinum on his own, and taken its punches head on.
Yeah, but that's nothing compared to Dio's secret weapon, the greatest weapon in anime history! The Steamroller! Turns out Dio's a hell of a chef. He can make pancakes and donuts.
Even so, despite having a massive god complex, Dio's still a careful tactician capable of exploiting an opponent's weaknesses.
Too bad he wasn't prepared for Jotaro to learn how to stop time too and murder the shit out of him. That's some hardcore karma right there. But it only makes sense that a dog murderer would die like a bitch.
But much like the machinations of great and terrible men, Dio's will was immortal. In time, his greatest follower succeeded in extinguishing the Joestar bloodline and literally remaking the universe in Dio's image, creating that heaven he always dreamed of.
I guess when you're named after a rock star, a movie star, and, oh, that's right, God, you're pretty much bound for greatness.
You thought your first kiss would be JoJo, but it was I, Dio!
For beer.
Just like me.
What up? Helsing needed a beast as fearsome as Alucard to take on Millennium, aka Nazi vampires. That's like evil squared.
Like when Millennium SS Lieutenant Rip Van Winkle commandeered a British aircraft carrier as part of an invasion of London.
Alucard didn't like that very much, so he
Alucard went
jackknifed
crazy.
it with an SR-71 Blackbird at Mach 3.
A fully loaded Blackbird weighs 170,000 pounds, meaning it struck with a kinetic energy of 11 tons of TNT. That's as powerful as the US Massive Ordnance Air Blast.
AKA the mother of all bombs, and Al was in the middle of that and strolled out like it was nothing.
Just as impressive as intercepting Rip's magic bullets. Comparing the distance one bullet moved to the jet in the same time frame as the jet's own movement, each bullet would have to be moving at 1,500 times the speed of sound.
I got Dio. I'm just realizing now.
And Alucard caught one with his friggin' teeth. And after giving Rip's name a new meaning, he drove that aircraft carrier back to shore with his mind to fight two separate armies at the same time. What a goddamn
Let me
monster.
see if they give him his
Goes without
stats
saying
right.
that Alucard's immense power and bloodlust need
Max-
to be controlled.
max
So 6
speed?
restriction levels were placed on him that he can release against dangerous opponents.
Levels 6 through 2 are for wrecking your ordinary ghouls. Level 1 is for your heavy-duty vampires, and for getting this gnarly demon doggo made from his shadow essence, Baskerville.
But there exists an even greater state of power Alucard can release when he wants to end the world. Level 0.
Once activated, Level 0 releases every single soul Alucard has consumed as a sea of blood-soaked zombies. All 3 million of them.
Sure, with his souls gone, he can't heal as easily, and if his heart is destroyed, he'll die permanently. But the sheer numbers and power of this army from hell makes him virtually impossible to approach in the first place.
He's unstoppable. This guy's got to be like the king of all vampires.
Indeed, he is. Helsing purposely kept Alucard's true identity
I'ma
a
stick to
secret,
my team.
all in the codename. Alucard backwards is
Dracula? Yeah, duh, Wiz, idiot.
over 500 years ago. The Wallachian voivode Vlad Dracula battled the Ottoman Turks for control over Eastern Europe and impaled thousands of people in the process. Hence his historical name, Vlad the Impaler.
But things didn't end up too good for him. Right before his execution, he took a big old sip of some blood from the battlefield, sacrificing his humanity in order to become an immortal creature of the night.
And that is when the legend was born. But it wasn't anything Dracula was proud of. He grew to despise his monstrous nature and saw it as cowardice. The main reason he hated other vampires so much was that he really hated himself.
Oh, that's deep, Wiz. Maybe that's why he always lets his enemies rip into him like a piñata of self-loathing. His crazy OP healing factor will fix everything anyways.
Millennium would exploit this arrogance by tricking Alucard
I'm
into
sticking to my
absorbing the
team.
soul and abilities of Schrödinger, a German cat boy who controls his own quantum state. This grants him pseudo-omnipresence and immortality. He can exist everywhere and nowhere, and cannot die so long as he can recognize his own existence.
But because Al had 3 million souls kicking around inside him, Schrödi couldn't recognize himself anymore, forcing him, and thus Alucard, to fade out of existence.
So Alucard spent 30 years killing the other 3 million souls inside of him until he could return to reality and his master. He undid his own unexistence.
No matter how spoopy the threat, Alucard will show
I'm sticking to my team.
no mercy.
I'm sticking to
He's
my
just
team.
waiting
I don't
for
know.
the day he
I
meets
don't
a
know.
noble human warrior
His
strong
durability?
enough to end his unlife for good.
But
Insane.
should he face a fellow monster, a fool who rejected their
Bitch.
humanity like himself, he'll let loose the dogs of war, and
Bro. Like, nah, that's just tough as
all
fuck.
hell will sing.
I'm a
I don't
dog.
give a fuck.
Then you're dog food.
Oh my god.
All right, the combatants are set.
I almost
We've
had a
run
heart
the
attack.
data through all possibilities.
But first, if you want the same kind of confidence that lets you try to take over the world with a zombie army, first off, interesting. Secondly, try out Blue Chew.
This episode is brought to you by Blue Chew.
A little bit of extra confidence can take you really far in life.
And that's why Blue Chew delivers the
Damn, that's a huge ad.
You interrupted my dinner.
Funny, I was just thinking about having mine.
Then by all means, take a bite.
Low-key, I might have Dio just on the sole fact that now that I'm thinking about it, how the fuck is Alucard gonna do anything though? Like, speed-wise. Actually, let's see.
Checkmate! How oh so very weak, dog. You thought you'd triumph, but it was I!
Deal?
Actually, no. I think Bitch! I had to trick him. I had to make him think that people, bruh, nah.
Deal?
If I'm a dog, you're dog food. Huh?
I got Alucard, fully. I'ma lock in, I can't say shit.
What the hell are you?
A real fucking vampire.
A real fucking... Oh my god! What the fuck? Holy fuck.
You want blood, you disgusting monster? Choke on your own.
I want to rule the world! Face me, Vampire King! Bow to your new god!
No. No, bitch.
Bird of Hermes is my name. Eating my wings to make Bird of Hermes is my name. Eating my wings to make me tame.
Bro, that's so tough. That's so tough.
Useless. Muda! Muda!
Ow. I thought the fucker could reset, like, I don't know, his death?
Hey,
Death manipulation?
oh! Alucard pulled out all the stops, but like the bloody drink, it was in vain.
Bro, this it's just Dio. Bro, I know that I had to switch to Dio when I heard the fucking stats, like, read out to me. I'm like, nah, like, light speed compared to Mach is kind of like a huge difference. I'm like, Dio's gonna outspeed the fuck out of him. Plus the world, like, that's not gonna work. But bro, I don't like how Alucard played forward. Like, bro, if he actually, like, just played, like, let the fucking, like, zombies attack like he did in the show, and then later on attack, bro, like, I don't remember Alucard just rushing in. Unless of, like, bro.
Finger guns!
It took
He
a whole
may have
3
been
fucking episodes for Alucard to die. Alucard to pull up, dive, and then
king
come
of the
back.
vampires in Helsing, but Dio had everything he needed to clip the bird of Hermes' wings.
Alucard's strength.
No, yes, time stoppage sounds like a perfect fucking counter to, like, if someone needs to get their heart worked
Strategy in
out.
most fights is to heal from an opponent's attacks until they get tired, then take advantage of an opening. But he couldn't do that here because Dio didn't really have any openings, and Alucard wasn't nearly as strong or as fast to compensate.
Yes, that's what I was mentioning. That Alucard is weaker and not as fast. Which fuck.
Could survive crashing that jet and move 1,500 times faster than sound. But scaling from stone
Yeah, if they could go light speed, as soon as I saw this and punching the meteorite, bro, I knew that Dio was gonna get that shit.
free and Silver Chariot,
I
the
did
world
not-
could punch.
I didn't know how high they rank Alucard. People scale the fuck out of Alucard, but then again, there's also just as many people that do it for Gyarados. So I don't know.
relativistic meteors and move 1,500 times faster than light. That would make Dio nearly 40,000 times stronger and 800,000 times faster.
I had to choose someone. I would have gone with Dio too, but this fucker said Dio. So at that point, I'm left with Alucard. But I've watched Alucard fully. Can I say I prefer the show? Nah. I prefer JoJo's, like, realistically. Damn, but I do for all the stats.
Than Alucard.
Hell, Alucard couldn't even see or
I even said I was gonna
hurt
switch.
the world in the first place because he's not a stand user. And since Stone
Nah,
Master
I take that shit back. I don't care. I take that shit back. Nah, bro.
vampires from JoJo aren't weak to holy weapons like
my
Helsing
God.
vampires are, Al's guns were more or less dead weight.
Plus, Alucard just had no way to get past the time stop. Even if he did somehow, Dio could just freeze him on contact.
And considering Dio has taken punches from Star Platinum, Hal would have had trouble doing damage even if he got the chance.
Dio's far greater speed and power meant that, given enough time, he could realistically kill Alucard 3 million times in quick succession. Without any viable options for attack or openings to exploit, Alucard's soul-based regeneration meant he would run out of lives eventually, and level 0 only sped up that process.
Sure, that army's nothing to scoff at, but consider the time Dio's eye beams
I didn't like that shit.
split those huge-ass clouds.
Estimating the size of the clouds and the speed at which they moved, Dio's beams must have output an energy of over 10 megatons of TNT, enough to wipe out Alucard's army in one go, leaving him vulnerable. Just like when this other vampire, Walter, could have killed him by piercing his heart. Alucard's even admitted it himself.
Hell, Alucard's army is filled with blood. You know, that thing that Dio uses to heal? But Wiz, what about Schrodinger? With his powers, Al can't die unless he chooses to.
While Schrodinger's quantum immortality makes him impossible to kill normally, it is literally part of the story that Alucard cannot have Schrodinger's abilities and his greater array of powers at the same time, or else he'll no longer exist. We can't give him both Schrodinger and his standard powers without breaking the lore and rules of the character.
Even if we did, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't help him kill Dio at all, so at best it'd be a stalemate. Until Dio hypnotizes Alucard, asks him about his powers, and forces him to eject Schrody like the rest of his souls.
Shocking though it may be, Dio's overwhelming offense, impenetrable defense, and uniquely devastating abilities wore Alucard down until the No-Life King had no lives left.
Alucard got Dio-owned!
Boomstick, you tell the worst puns in the world.
That's right, and you're just gonna have to Dio with it. And hey, wait a minute, that was a pun. That's my territory. We talked about this.
The winner is Dio.
love you. I mean, it was entertaining, but bro. For Alucard being alive so long, bro, that was the most stupid, like, battle IQ I've ever seen out of him. Bro, like, fuck.